A very good morning, good afternoon to all our viewers logging in from everywhere globally. It's my pleasure to welcome you to today's session powered by the Indo-German Center for Business Excellence at the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. I'm your host for today, Kasturi Dadhe. It's my first time. Usually you're used to seeing Dr. Matthias Karton, but it's summer here, so we have a bit of a shift over today. And we have a very special guest with us today for today's talk. So very excited to be here today with Consul General of India in Frankfurt, Mr. B.S. Mubarak. But before I introduce our esteemed guest, just quick house rule. You will see on your screen the Slido QR code along with the code. So feel free to ask questions during the session during the next 45 minutes. And we look forward to interacting with you today. Right. To our special guest today, a Consul General in Frankfurt of India, Mr. B.S. Mubarak, is a seasoned diplomat, has been posted globally everywhere, but this is his first Europe posting, something special, Consul General. Yeah. One word interesting kind of information about the Consul General, he's also pursuing a PhD, he's very business oriented, very focused, and it's a pleasure to have the Consul General with us here today and also in Frankfurt. It is almost 10 months that he is in his posting, and I would directly start by welcoming you, Consul General.
Thank you.
Welcome you to Frankfurt as well. How has it been in the last 10 months? How has your journey been? Any special highlights you'd like to share with us?
It was a very interesting journey. At the outset, let me thank Frankfurt School and Ms. Kasturi, you for hosting this event. And for the Indo-German Business Center, I really love this center because it is one center which anchors a lot of India-centric programs, and we also associate a lot. So I thank Indo-German Business Center for hosting this event. 10 months have been really interesting. I came in winter, which was a bit harsh for me, but somehow when winter comes, can spring be far behind? So with that, the spring and the summer has been really promising. We have been very active. The Consulate General of India in Frankfurt is the largest Indian consulate in Europe, and we handle 4 states, Hesse, NRW, Rhineland-Pfalz and Saarland, and around 35 to 40% of the business that happens between India and Germany happens from our jurisdiction. We have a bilateral trade of $30 billion with 50 billion exports and 15 billion imports, equal more or less. And that makes our job even more interesting. Every region, every city and every village here is quite active commercially, and we have been traveling extensively. I and my team in the commercial division, we have been traveling extensively to promote Indo-German business.
Well, I mean, you rightly mentioned that, we have a very robust trade between India and Germany and also strategic partnership. Any particular sectors that you would like to highlight where you see the maximum potential? And, we put that in the let's say in the onset of the budget, which was recently passed, thanks to the government coming in power just recently. The MSME sector has huge potential in India. We were speaking earlier that 60 million MSMEs in India versus the Mittelstand or the SME sector in Germany, which is a strong, let's say, a stronghold and a huge contributor to the German GDP. But we're speaking of 3 million German SMEs here. So is there any collaboration where you can see that you as a consulate and as a Consul General can propel collaborations or cooperations more?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you rightly said, around 30% of the GDP in India is driven by MSMEs. Yeah. When you compare last year's budget and this year's budget, there is a 40% hike in allocation for MSMEs. And this is also primarily seen as an employment generating sector. So, there may be high-tech sectors, IT sectors and all, but MSMEs is where it generates a lot of employment for people. And again, if you see the collaboration between India and Germany, the collaboration in the area of MSME is quite strong. So we attended the Engineering Export Promotion Council recently, maybe 2 months back. They were in Cologne. They gave a very good analogy of how components for machines come from India to Germany and how as a capital good, as the whole machinery, it goes back to India. So, you know, and when it comes to automobile sector, machineries, manufacturing, food processing, so many sectors. There are textiles, leather, there are so many, and chemicals, pharmaceuticals. There are so much of interest in both countries and so much of potential and so much of collaboration also. And you specifically asked about the role of the embassies and the consulates. So I myself, out of experience, I can tell you that you know, the large corporations in India, they don't need the support of embassies or consulates. It is the MSMEs that need our support. Again here, individual MSMEs, it's very difficult for them to approach a consulate or an embassy. But they approach us through the export promotion councils or the various other institutions, and we do our best to support them.
I mean, you mentioned about the MSME sector, but also the trade councils, which are very active in India. And I can speak for Frankfurt as well, that, you know, Frankfurt is a city of trade. It's also a city of trade fairs. And it has been in my experience in the last 20 years that I've been here, that a lot of trade or business councils from India have a very strong contingency and have a very strong presence at trade fairs in Frankfurt. Anything that you would like to say on that? I mean, have you hosted certain delegations and any best practices or experiences that you could share?
You know, like most of the trade fairs that are happening here in Frankfurt, I see that India is the #1 or #2 country which is part with in terms of participation. Like in Ambiente, we had more than 500 Indian companies coming. And when you interact with Indian companies, they see it as a great platform to you know, to reach out to the world, not specifically Europe or any other country per se. So some of them say that even if they get one order from a big business entity, that will give them business for a year or more than a year. So they see it in that way. And what we do as a consulate is, many times we organize side events along with these fairs, and that is really helpful for these MSMEs which come here, either to educate them on what are the opportunities, business intelligence, or to also tell them what are the opportunities around the you know, the particular space that is coming up. So every large delegation that comes, we mostly try to organize a side event, and because at the messe they generally only get to know the people who visit them. But as an institution, when we host side events, we can connect them with, say, Frankfurt Rhein-Main, we can connect with IHACA, we can connect them with so many bodies which are also looking for partners. So these side events have been extremely productive, and the organizations or the export promotion councils or the trade bodies which bring them here appreciate these kind of side events that we organize.
I mean, it's interesting, right? Because you are in Frankfurt, which is a very pivotal kind of, a very centerpiece of Europe in a way, you know, because Frankfurt also acts as a gateway to not just the German market, but the European market. And the way I see it is, whenever trade associations bring these companies, they don't just get a glimpse of Germany, but they get a glimpse of Europe. And, you know, we can take it a step further because the trade fairs are open internationally. So you get the world literally on one campus or in one ground. But coming back to Frankfurt and your position here and your work here, we spoke of the MSME sector, which is essentially a enterprise, entrepreneurship, and that has been kind of the DNA of the Indian system or the Indian, let's say, person. How do you see that in the startup scene? I know that the consulate has been very active in promoting Indian startups and promoting collaborations between India and Germany. But in Germany, we are a little more conservative, if I am allowed to say so. Whereas India is all out there. It's robust, it's growing. We speak of, you know, every startup that is born in India every day, literally. And also the funding is available. What would you like to say? How has your experience been working with Indian startups in India or German startups in India, as well as Indo-German startup collaborations here? Is there any special initiative that you have?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. You know, we under the banner of these India Business Forum, we have started a startup initiative to try and bridge or bring Indian startups and the German startups together. So, as we all know, Germany is the hub for innovation, and everywhere there is a lot of basic science, patents, and a lot of technology that is available, and this can be validated with the kind of population that you have in India. So, lot of opportunities are there. We are planning a solid event in October to bring startups, but this is only a small thing. So many things are happening parallelly. You know, this is like, you know, by the way, so many things are happening. In Dusseldorf is a great hub for promoting startups, and a lot of Indian startups come engage with institutions, be it city or you know, startup promoting agencies, and they are doing a wonderful job. And you know, there is a lot of drive in India. The youth are full of energy, and the startup story itself says about the 21st century India. Like 2016, we were hardly 5,000 startups. Today we have 120,000 startups. It's just the ecosystem that was generated to help India propel and to help the Indian youth use the opportunities, and also the digital public infrastructure that has been created by the government that has extremely helped startups use that, you know, ecosystem to propel their business. So we have a lot of opportunities, and we see that you know, the Germany is a hub for innovation, and lot of startups, you want to use that kind of an innovation to validate, to use it in scale in India. So there are enormous number of projects that are going on, but very few are in our knowledge. So many things are happening privately between people, between startups, between investors. A lot of things have been happening.
Consul General, you mentioned at the beginning that this startup initiatives is kind of held under the India Business Forum initiative. Could you perhaps shed a little more light on what this initiative is all about?
Yeah. So India Business Forum, you know, it is a forum which was in existence before COVID, but then because of COVID, it actually, you know, it wasn't active. So in the before 6 months, in March, we reinitiated this platform, and here again we are trying to bring Indian businesses, Indian CEOs, and people who are interested in India, the German businesses which are interested in India, to bring it as them in one platform. And here again, what we have done is we see that a lot of women entrepreneurs or would-be women entrepreneurs from India are taking a lot of interest. So for them, we have also created a India Business Forum, Women's Forum, Women's Chapter, and then another for youth. And all the innovation or startup initiatives that we have taken is among from the youth chapter that we are doing. We have few Indian startups, startup leaders, I would say, who want to take up the leadership. We, end of the day, we are a platform. We are giving a space for people, and we are trying to give an institution for them to propel themselves. So there are leaders who are taking it up, and we are supporting them, and we will be coming up with a good event in October exclusively for startups.
Oh, we are very excited to know more about this event. For everyone viewing online, please use this opportunity to shoot out questions to the Consul General before we move on. So, having said that, I mean, startup is of course a buzzword, you know, and we see that before startups become grown-ups, agencies like yours, agencies like ours really help kind of boost their growth. You mentioned something about Indian women and them trying to kind of initiate their entrepreneurial skills or initiate some kind of an action or project with businesses. I'd like to kind of connect that to the diaspora that we have in Germany or in Frankfurt, at least in the Frankfurt-Rhine-Main region. And we have over 26,000 Indians in the Frankfurt-Rhine-Main region. It's the largest business community that we have, international business community that we have here. We have that strength, the strength of the community on one hand. On the other hand, we have the skill and the talent in India and the requirement of the talent and skill here. How do you see your role in kind of trying to fill these lacuna or fill these gaps between what we need here and what we have already? If you could maybe say some words on that.
Like many of these business events that we attend here, we hear that there are two major challenges in Germany. One is digitalization and the other is the lack of skilled manpower. And I always say that India can be a solution to both. So, you know, and I also think that it's a very smart way for Germany to have invested in Indian students. So I was in RWTH Aachen, which alone has more than 2,000 Indian students, and many of these are public universities, but they still have invested in offices in India, and they ensure that they get the best students to come to, you know, come to Germany for their higher education. And I feel that this is one of the best strategies, because as a student they learn the language, they learn the culture, and by the time they start going to the industry, they are more or less feel assimilated in the culture. So today Indians are the #1 students community, international students community, around close to around 50,000 in Germany.
50,000.
Yeah, which itself, you know, it's a tribute, because most of them come in the STEM areas, and they focus on engineering, math, and then they try and work in companies which need such people. So I think it's a great opportunity. Many of them used to ask, is it not a brain drain? But I also feel that after some time, people have so much knowledge and experience of working in a country like Germany, and many of them go back to India, taking all that kind of innovation and experience with them back to the home country and try and you know, do good things for the country. So I think when it comes to diaspora and students, India is growing strong, and it has a fabulous community which is very you know, strong in innovation and IT, and they are doing their best in, you know, contributing to the system here. So this is what I always say, Indians wherever they are, they have tried to add value to the countries that they have worked in. I had lived in Dubai. I had seen many of the, you know, be it port or airport or the electricity or the telephone system, the Indians are drivers of those systems. So I think we generally contribute in a better way and add value, so we are also welcomed wherever we go.
I mean, I could just probably add 1 or 2 lines on that. And, you know, Indians, the first preferred destination usually is either the US or the UK. Obviously, because, you know, there's a large Indian community there, but at the same time, there's also the English language, which adds to the strength and adds to the coherence, so you're making it easy to go there. And Germany does not fall under one of the top favored destinations. However, we have seen post-Brexit, considering the visa regulations becoming a little stringent, and because Germany, like most European countries, the education is free. You do not pay for the education here. And there is absolutely no discrimination if you're a German or a non-German. However, you are treated the same way here. And that kind of gives you an access to excellent education. And I think now Indians have started becoming more and more aware of the chances, of the opportunities that are possible and available. And through, you know, acts like the Skilled Migration Act, or kind of the modus operandi of both the governments to bring also more students here, we will probably see a bigger upsurge. But in that case, you know, the consulate does play a pretty crucial role in ensuring that when the students are here, their first home is really the consulate. And I think there you play a pretty active role in helping out the students, also students in distress as well, but also having initiatives. I don't know if there are any particular initiatives that you're doing for Indian students here?
Yeah, see, you know, like you rightly said, you know, coming to Germany and being a student is not always easy, because there is an element of homesickness when they are away from home, and also that they would have to be in an environment where they have to compete and perform well and all. But as you rightly said, I keep telling my officials also that when you see the GCC countries, the blue collared workers may be the vulnerable people, but when you see Germany or Europe, students are the vulnerable Indians that we see. Others can take care of themselves, but for students we need to do some kind of a hand holding. So what we do is, wherever we go, we generally have an interaction with students communities when we visit the universities, and most of these universities also have the association, they call it as Indian Students Association, and they have leaders. So we have a channel of communication with all these leaders and tell them specifically that if there are areas of concern, or if there is something that you would like us to know, please immediately WhatsApp. So we are on a WhatsApp basis communication with all the leaders of the association, Indian Students Association. There is also a federation of this Students Association. With them also we are in touch, and wherever we go, we try and engage. I'm not saying that we are absolutely in touch with all the students we have, but we are trying our best. And there are places where we have gone and we saw a large number of students and no associations there, and we try and encourage them to form associations, or at least identify few leaders and tell them, communicate with them on a regular basis. So this really helps. So if there are issues, we normally get to know in advance, and there are many issues, and then we try and intervene and support students in whatever best way we can within the framework of the rule of law that allows us to do that, which has helped us a lot. If somebody needs some kind of support, medical support, counseling support, legal support, we are ready to support them.
I think in that sense you truly are cutting red tape, cutting all the bureaucracy involved, and really being there, out there for students as and when they need. And it is, I won't be false if I say that students are really ambassadors of their own countries.
Absolutely.
So when they come from India, they are Indian ambassadors, but when they leave Germany, we hope they don't leave, but they also become German ambassadors. And institutions like the consulate really play a very crucial role in making that entire experience a very seamless, fruitful experience.
Like you rightly said, I had seen many of the industry leaders in India working for German companies are the students who had come here like before 2 decades or so, gone back to India and heading German companies, maybe it VDMA or any other institution. Really, so this is a win-win situation.
Absolutely. Still kind of sticking to the whole student and the community area, Consul General. We speak of the cultural strength that India has to offer to the world, and this government has been successful in launching several initiatives to kind of make this open to the world. The consulate has also been very active in several cultural initiatives, kind of bringing the community together, but also bringing the German community or introducing them to the German community. We also have a question on that, but are there any specific initiatives that the consulate has on a regular basis, whether it is annual, monthly, to promote culture or the cultural bond between India and Germany?
See, we organize several events related to promoting of Indian culture, and then some of the most successful thing I would say is the International Day of Yoga that we do, which we do in the whole month of June and culminating in the 21st of June, but which we have seen so much of interest among Germans. End of the day, it's not that meeting and eating among ourselves. We should reach out to the Germans, and here in yoga I see that a lot of Germans are participating in this in the cultural events. We are also starting the India Fest, which will be like cultural, cuisine, business, all put together. We are trying to put up a show which will be in October again. This used to happen some years back. Again we are reinitiating this process, and this is again a great way. But what I would say is I would like to compliment the Indian associations, EFAUs here. We have around 57 registered Indian associations only in our jurisdiction.
Impressive.
And each of them organize wonderful events. Again, when you go out of your country, one of the questions that keep bothering you is, are our children in touch with our culture? Are we completely uprooted from what we see? But what I see is Indians now, when they come, they bring the seeds and sow it again here, and this is growing. So every place you go, they are actually promoting the culture from their particular state, and this helps the children know what their culture is all about. But also the foreigners, wherever, whether be it international community or the German community itself, they are also invited in all these events, and they get to understand Indian culture better. So I congratulate and appreciate the efforts done by these EFAUs, because they are taking time, and it's not an easy task to make children come on stage, get trained. It is the one day event that we see, but there may be a 1 month of preparation before that event actually happens on stage. So it's really the hard work of these EFAUs which are actually promoting. They are the real ambassadors who are promoting the culture. So some of them are, I would say that like I went to the Frankfurt Tamil Sangam, their event, which was, they are trained in some of the very, very folk dances. They have got these training through online models, and they get all this, and they were able to perform in a very professional way. And people get to see this for the first time. So this is all, I think, I would really like to appreciate all the EFOs. And like Odisha, they had this Daridri Day, which is actually, celebrating Mother Earth. So again, this is like teaching sustainability to children, how to appreciate the trees and the nature that you have around. So this is, this is your culture, but when you come out, how to teach the children so they actually appreciate that. So it is like, I feel that the community is quite strong, quite enterprising, and they are able to take that kind of a leadership to promote the culture, Indian culture, and we are just supporting them in whatever way we can.
No, I think the consulate also has an umbrella organization that brings all these organizations together, so you do play a very important role. In Germany, we speak only one language, German. Whereas India, we cannot say the same for Indians. We are all very strong in our own regional languages. And I'm very curious to understand, sir, if there are any schools here or regional language schools here which are available.
I am aware of some of the languages being taught, but I am not entirely aware of all the the opportunities that are available here. Many things happen at a very local level. People teaching Hindi and children coming and learning them. I know Telugu is being taught, Tamil is being taught. So schools during weekends, people tie up with municipal organizations and use the school facility to teach. But we have also been trying to popularize these things. We will try to come out with a chart. This is a very good point I see, where we can actually promote all the local schools or local efforts or initiatives to promote or teach languages, so that the others will also know. But generally, if there is a small town and somebody who is doing it, people come to know. They have WhatsApp groups, and there are areas they are able to communicate, and they come to know. But still, it would be good if we also publicize this from our side.
Absolutely. I think that is where, again, the consulate has an important stakeholder in promoting regional languages. Is there a particular area where you see that Indians can contribute? I mean, we spoke of a lot of, a myriad of topics, but any particular areas where you think the Indian community can contribute strongly in the German society? I mean, why is it that Indians really choose Germany in a way, and where do you see the maximum contribution that we can get in?
See, like you said, diversity is something that we really appreciate, and this is India as a country of unity in diversity, and this is something that we can do here, and we have been doing here. I see all these EFOs when they do, be it a Odisha event, they invite all the other communities to come and witness their own culture, and this is again this is something that we can actually we can do it in Germany. So this is something which I see is more unique and which is not seen in, like you said, Germany is one language, and which is more or less it is like people speak the same language everywhere, but we are more diverse in that sense. So, and the other thing which I see is Indians are, we have a lot of drive, we have lot of energy. That is primarily also because of the average age. We are at 28. Yeah, our average age is 28, while it is like 45 plus when we see Germany. So this is like, and also when I see that when it comes to services, the kind of services that India can offer is amazing. There are umpteen number of examples. I would like to quickly tell you one which I have narrated.
Please
so, I was having a conversation with the Indonesian Consul General, who told that he landed at around 2 a.m. on 24th of February in India, and his meetings were only on 25th February. So that whole day was free. So at 24th February 2 a.m. he thought that why don't from Delhi I go to Taj Mahal. So so at that time he goes to a travel agencies and find that there are 24/7 is somebody gives a 24/7 call center. He calls and tells them that I want to go in another 5 hours, I want to take a cab, go with a guide to Taj Mahal and come back in the same day. Is it possible? Absolutely, they say the first answer comes is absolutely, and then that happens on the same day. So this is the kind of entrepreneurship that you see in India, where people look for opportunities. The drive is there. People are hungry. They want to achieve. They want to actually they want to execute things at a very fast pace. So that is something I feel that which can be taught to the world, which is like go-getters, come somehow get it done. So this is something I am very proud of. I was just narrating to you, I was traveling from a train from Kanyakumari to Chennai. So on the way I could order my favorite food, and then on the station somebody is there to deliver to me at the doorstep of the compartment. So people look for opportunities, they really work hard, and then they are looking for some kind of opportunities to perform and earn their own living. So that is something which I see India is very strong.
Absolutely, I completely can concur. We have a question here, and this is a little bit of a challenging, let's say, a challenging situation. Does Germany's aging population and India's young population limit the potential of their relationship? Do we see gaps there because of the discrepancies in both the populations?
See, I would first say it complements, when you see that there is, there are areas where a lot of energy is required, and Indians are filling some of these gaps. But I would also say that there are some organizations where you see only the old people there. The young people haven't come up yet. So there are few challenges, but mostly it is like complementing each other. Wherever these gaps occur, Indians are there to actually fill those gaps. If not completely, at least in certain sectors. So I think it is an opportunity for both countries. India with a growing population, with the challenges for employment, and with a lot of skilled manpower. Today 25% of the engineers come from India now. So with that kind of skill you can always support, and people, it's not actually brain drain. You come here, you learn, like I had seen this in Dubai and in Saudi Arabia. People come, learn a lot, and go back, set up businesses in India. So this is also an experience. When they come, they happen to learn, and then they take back that experience and start businesses in India.
We want them to stay in Germany because we need them here. We need that talent here as well. But kind of, as we are kind of coming closer to the end of our discussion, we've spoken a lot about the strengths of both the countries, the complementarity between both the countries, where we can build on further. What do you see are, let's say, the top 3 challenges in this relationship? And I would use that very vaguely and broadly, but where do you see scope for improvement?
See, one thing that I see is, in Germany, everything is built around systems. But in India, it is more individualistic when it comes. And the systems are there, but like I'm talking at private level, So, this is again something that India can learn from. From executing things and event management or everything, how to do it in a pre-planned way. In many times, I had a meeting with SICCI, South Indian Chamber of Commerce, where a 40-member delegation would be coming in September. So they asked me to address the people. So I told that, you just can't plan something 1 month in advance for coming to Germany. You have to plan 1 year in advance. And that is how you get results, and that is how people take you seriously. So even if you are really good, but if you don't plan well in advance, it can't happen. But in India, you can plan something 5 days in advance and get it executed. So we are very good in this firefighting and getting things done. But I think the systems here are much more robust and which have been giving results. So we can learn this, and I think as some kind of challenge when Indians sometimes can't understand, like the Consul General of Germany in Chennai was telling me that people sometimes apply visas for very important events at the last moment, say 10 days or 15 days back, and expect that they get it. And she says, many times I am unable to help because people come at 2 weeks in advance. So I think for Indians also it's important to understand the culture, be well prepared, and take things more in a planned way. That is one thing which I think is some kind of a gap which I see.
And I think there again, organizations like the consulate or like our organization as well does act as a good bridge, trying to apprise people to ensure mobility happens, but that little bit of planning, little bit of foresight does definitely help in the long run, especially when you're dealing with the Germans.
True.
I mean, Germany is a country which is known for its precision, quality, planning, structures, and in India we get everything. In India we get everything done. So all of this is there. It's just differently done. And I think for that synergies to match, there is a strong foundation through organizations like ours who kind of can help bridging these differences together. I'd probably come to a last question for you, sir. I mean, every Consul General has his own agenda, his or her own agenda. They manage, they come with a certain vision for their posting. They come with their projects. Is there a particular passion project? You are here for 10 months. You will be here for the next 2 years, I'm assuming. And if all goes well, we see you back as ambassador here. Is there a particular passion project that you really want to kind of pursue here? We'd be interested in knowing.
Yeah, see, I'm really astonished by the kind of innovation that happens in Germany. Even a small company has 50 patents, and all this is focused on innovation. They know that someday this is going to bring us the money, but they are not running behind money, they are running behind quality, innovation and improvement, and this results in money. So, I think if I can do something, then this will be promoting technology transfers to India, having joint ventures, taking FDIs to India. For me, always the commercial diplomacy has been my interest. And in the past 10 months, I had seen that there is ample scope to do this. And like you started your conversation or your interview with the MSMEs, if I can, do something for the MSMEs in India in a big way. Like we had a colleague or a friend of ours who said that MSMEs in India operate at an efficiency of 50 to 60%. Even if they increase by 10%, India's economy will be, really, it will propel. So if in the systems that are available in Germany, technologies that are available in Germany can support this, and if I can play a role in that, I'll be really happy, which I am trying to do.
If there are no further questions, then Consul General, Excellency, it has been an absolute honor to chat with you. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. For every one of you logging in from work, home, wherever you are, stay safe. Have a great summer if you're in Germany. And we see you next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for hosting this
Thank you.
event. Thank you.